YouTube is up. So we want to thank anyone who might be joining us. The show will be starting very soon here. We have a great show today. We got a special guest and candidate for Minnesota House of Representatives in 40A, Ben Schwanke. Damn it, did I screw it up?
You
They'll
nailed
correct
it, man.
me afterward if so.
You nailed it.
But yeah. So as always, we'd love to hear from the audience during the show. Please comment below the video, and we will oftentimes display your comment on screen. And show will be starting soon. Kind of sounded like a first timer there. You guys, about 20 seconds. It's all you boys.
Welcome to Black Republican, Black Democrat Tonight. I'm your co-host, Jamar. Oh, I almost said it.
Oh, yeah, I almost said it.
I know.
I'm your other co-host, AK Kamara. How you
What's
doing,
going
bro?
on, homie? How you doing tonight?
You know, good night, man.
You know,
Beautiful outside.
It is. Man, it is great outdoors. Although most you and a lot of the wrinkly folks have complained a lot of the 90s away, I like heat. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a country boy. I like the heat, and here in Minnesota, we got to take advantage of the 2 weeks that we get for a summer. So let it blaze and burn your ass up.
Today was great. If it could be like this, if this would be the maximum.
No, we need some humidity.
Yeah.
No, we need some humidity.
No,
you need,
we
dude.
need
It's
zero humidity.
you need to sweat. You want to go outside and sweat? Yeah,
No,
that's summertime.
the worst thing.
That is not.
I could never live in Florida or Louisiana or Mississippi or Georgia, any of those southern.
Listen,
because of this humidity, man. I can't.
you could.
I can't.
It's
do it,
really
bro.
well. Listen, I love Minnesota, but if we had a climate that prohibited warmth year round,
Yeah.
you know. And listen, I don't in the wintertime. I don't need 80s and 90s. I mean like 60s, 50s, 60s, something like that would be cool for here in Minnesota. The winters aren't like bad, but they can be dramatically bad.
No, they take getting used to. I personally,
You don't get used to this
we
shit.
had this conversation before. I am perfectly cool with having, below zero weather
You know why?
because I grew up in North Dakota.
That's the white in you.
That's the white. Yeah, man. I actually hate being hot. I can be cold all day. I can throw on blankets. I can, do whatever I got to do. But when I'm too hot, you can't cool down, man. Like you can strip naked, but then that's it.
Yeah.
And hopefully I scarred all of your brains by you having to think
I know.
about that.
Wait. I'm trying to get rid of the mental picture I just had of this.
But honestly, man, I don't like that. I don't like that. Well, thank you for joining the show.
Word.
If you haven't hit that like button, hit
Please.
the share button, please do that.
Please, right now.
If
What are you
like
waiting on?
What it is that we do, trying to have meaningful conversations about divisive political issues. And if you haven't done so yet, make sure to visit our link tree. That's where you're going to be able to connect with all of our social medias. And most importantly, on that link tree, you're going to see a link for Patreon. By hitting that Patreon link, you can take a look at what it is that we do and more specifically, become a subscriber. Why do you want to be a subscriber? Because that's how we actually pay for the show. Jamar and I either have to pay money out of our pocket or our wonderful subscribers help to pay for that. 100% of your contribution goes to producing this show. Not a single penny goes into my or Jamar's pocket.
No, it pays these grumpy guys that are behind the cameras.
It absolutely does.
And then, when they don't get paid, all of a sudden I start having this fuzzy mustache look on my face and stuff. So
begging for change. Gonna have to write on some cardboard. So please make sure to hit that Patreon link if you want to help us keep political discourse alive.
Did you tell them to like and share the show tonight?
Yeah.
I don't know if I heard you say that. Like and share the damn show, please.
And then also, please make sure.
See what I mean? So, did we not pay these dudes?
Yeah, we got to get
Who
paid.
my Bernie Sanders? That's my Bernie. Wait, let me get right there. So, Bernie Sanders.
Also, we want to make sure that you patronize the sponsors that sponsor the show. The first sponsor, it's, warm outside. We were talking about like how hot it can get, maybe you're thirsty, and you're anywhere near the Minneapolis area, and you're like, you know what? I can stop at a convenience store, but I don't know where I want to stop.
Northside.
Where should you go?
The Weber Mart.
The what?
The Weber Mart.
Why should you go there, man?
Well, because like you just said, you can get some popsicles, you can get some bread, and you can do some of you drop off your mail, you can pick up packages.
Yeah, you get your postage, money order,
tobacco products. It's a one-stop shop, and it's the greatest guy that owns it. He's a great sponsor, but he's the greatest guy, and he saves people.
He does. That's right. That's right.
He literally, he saves people.
So please stop by the Weber Mart if you are anywhere in the Minneapolis area, 1701 44th Avenue North, and let them know the Black Republican, Black Democrat sent you. And then also, if you're sitting there and you're thinking, right, with this pandemic getting over and uncertainty in the world, you got to make sure to have your final affairs in place. That's what you got to do.
You do.
Right? So, as you know, I used to be an insurance agent for a bunch of years.
You did?
I did.
Okay.
And I would talk to people about what do you do when you die? Like, not what do you do, but what does your family do? And so you might have a bunch of questions about having a will, finding out whether or not a trust would make sense for you and your family, having a healthcare directive. I want you to reach out to Dennis Smith. He's our newest sponsor. He wants to actually help us with our mission to bring back civility and have meaningful conversations about political issues. Give him a call at 612-889-3971 to help plan for what happens when bad things happen for you.
Yeah. I mean, if you end up dead and you don't know it, then you should have left some behind.
And on top of that, let's say that you have all your ducks in a row there.
Right.
But with this new changing economy, this great reset that we have, you're like, I want to start a business.
Did you just pun at my president? Did you just poke at my president?
I want to start a new business. Dennis could also help you with that. So please shoot Dennis an email, dennis@smithlawmn.com, dennis@smithlawmn.com. He can help you get your business started, get all your paperwork together, or like I said, handling those complex issues when it comes to your end of life. So again, thank you to Dennis for being our new sponsor.
Thank you, Dennis.
And if you're watching and you're like, you know what? I like what these guys do. I actually want to help support beyond just producing the show. Actually put Jamar and I can buy ourselves something to eat.
I know.
Right? Get something to drink.
Because I'm hungry.
Think about becoming a sponsor.
Always.
Make sure to reach out to us again in our link tree. Send us a message on either Facebook or Instagram. And we would love to have you as a sponsor on the show as well.
Absolutely. You can sit in that seat next to AK if you're a major sponsor. Like Bernie Madoff. I mean, like some I don't know, somebody with some money. Not Madoff, maybe.
We definitely we'll take your money if you're Bernie Madoff. But if you want to be a sponsor, we want to make sure to help you with your business and you help us with ours. So please consider becoming a sponsor.
Man, the world is afire, and it doesn't stop churning with the events that happen in the world.
Yeah.
Right. And so like, have you thought of anything that's happening pretty close to home or in the world? What do you think? What do you got a topic that you want to talk about?
I do have a topic I want to talk about.
Name it. You pick the topic tonight.
I get to pick the topic?
You get to pick the topic.
Any topic.
Any topic.
What about your boy, man?
Who?
Your boy Joe Biden.
Uncle Joe?
Yeah.
What about Uncle Joe?
There's a poll that came out by your beloved station, CNN.
Mm-hmm.
75%.
I'm an MSNBC guy, by the way.
Of Democrat voters want someone other than Biden in 2024. Now, this is a recurring theme. We've talked about this.
I just want to say the same thing.
It won't go away.
We talked about it last week.
And the number keeps getting higher.
Well, but I don't worry about it because, again, as we talked about last week, he still beats Donald Trump in a head-to-head, and more Donald Trump voters would not vote for him than we claim, that CNN claims that Democrats wouldn't vote for Uncle Joe. Listen.
Well, no, this isn't about who they wouldn't vote for. I'm just saying this is about what the Democrats want. Like, for you.
They don't think he's progressive enough.
Do you in your heart, do you want Joe Biden?
Are you asking me this?
Because we never really talked about it.
Yes.
You do.
Absolutely. Do I want any Republican running this country again? Never, ever again.
It doesn't have to be a Republican.
Joe Biden. I mean, listen, right now, I mean, I couldn't, it's not that I could not, but it would take me I could come up with some Democrats. But, again, because we have a Democrat incumbent, you don't primary, you don't do any silly thing like that. And yes, let him go on. And I think that what he's been doing for this country so far has been incredibly well. Absolutely. It aside from his predecessor, didn't do anything.
So
but
why do so many Democrats not want him to run?
I just said to you, they think that the guy is not progressive enough. They wanted a guy that was going to come in. Look, but I think the youngsters, they get really antsy. Okay, and so they know that the power now is in voting, and so when they feel that a politician isn't living up to their pledges on the campaign or period, they want to remove them, and they have that right. They should get out, get activated. They don't think he's progressive enough. You were tripping if you thought that he was a progressive president. He said some progressive things because that is who he is. He's got a guy with spontaneity, but they wanted this huge progressive president. They wanted him in the last Democratic president they had. They thought President Obama was this mad progressive guy. They're not.
So you think that's the reason? It's because he's not progressive enough?
Oh, absolutely.
So what was interesting, and I actually didn't send this, so it's a little bit unfair because I'm talking from what I've seen.
Doesn't matter. I'll come back.
Is it the biggest reason that people didn't want Joe Biden to run in this poll was
of
that
1,000 people?
He was too old.
Yeah. He's 78. You know, so re-election would be 81, right?
Yeah.
So he's right now the oldest president in history. Ronald Reagan had that number, dubious distinction at first, but again, they're old white men that run for these political office, especially for president. So what do we expect to get? Again, Barack Obama was the youngest so far. He and George Bush, or actually it was Clinton, Bush, now President Obama. But I don't think that his age is. Well, I was going to say shouldn't make a difference, but that's not true. I think that because some cognitive skills on people going in their 80s, you do lose. Some don't. Some tend to think because President Obama has this this stuttering thing that he does stutter. Okay, he's a
Obama?
No. Biden?
Yeah, but he's also old and his brain is mushy.
Donald Trump is 2 years younger.
I know, but
yes.
Donald Trump, maybe it's because he's been rich for his whole life.
No.
He does not seem like as old as Joe Biden. Joe Biden, listen,
yes, he does.
I'm saying that just from...
Have you heard of the people that around him?
I'm going to give you this.
He's incompetent.
I'm going to take this completely off the table. I'm not going to bash Joe Biden's mental acuity or anything like that. Just by the fact that he's old and he's been in office for 50 years... I think that people feel that with his gaffes and his little miscues, not saying even, again, I'm not even going to talk about any cognitive decline. I'm just going to say that just based off that, people are like, oh man, this dude, I can't imagine him being president for another 6 years. And so the question is that I have for you, will there come a point based off of all this polling over and over and over again that you would be like, I know that this is rare. Most of the time, you wouldn't want a candidate to seek re-election because they have some type of specific scandal, right? But just by being like, this dude's just too old, calling for him to step down, do you think that he ever would make that decision? Like, do you think Biden will say, you know what, I'm going to read the tea leaves. I'm going to not run for re-election to help the party?
No. He's helping the party continue to go. What's happening is a lot of, here's the other thing. A lot of independents and Democrats are pissed off because Democrats are doing a horrible job of going across this country explaining what good this president has done since he's been in office. Republicans have always had the upper hand when it comes to a lot of times describing what a Democratic plan is or how a Democratic candidate is. They do a better job of that. This administration has to put out the talking heads, has to put out the people out to explain what's going on. To make people realize, because when I sit and do it, you have people that'll first tell you a lot of folks tell you that Democrats will tell you that he's not doing anything for you, right? And then you explain to him what he's done for you. Then they say, oh, he did that. Because, in fact, some because of Fox and some of the things that, again, Republicans are better at, some black folks and brown folks have even thought that some of the things that President Biden did was from Trump. They thought that. So we got to do a better job of that. That's why you hear that that's why you have those polls.
It's a trip to me. So when you talk
so again, did I answer that for you? No, I didn't want anybody else to run except for Joseph R. Biden.
Joseph Robinette. So the thing that was
It's
interesting
Robinette.
as well is
You
that
gotta say it with an English accent.
Robinette.
Okay. We'll try it when the show's over.
The other thing is that Pete Buttigieg.
Peter who?
Buttigieg. I think he's the Secretary of
Energy.
Transportation.
Transportation. That's right.
There was a poll in New Hampshire for Democrats, and Pete Buttigieg won the poll.
Dude, he's incredibly popular. He's a progressive Democrat.
Again, so if Joe Biden, like if in a perfect world, would you rather have
No.
Biden step away?
No.
and
Don't
Buttigieg-
ask me again. The answer will continuously be no. I am
Never.
proud that I
right.
voted for Joseph Biden. I was proud when I voted for him twice as vice president. I am proud to have cast
Yeah.
that ballot for him
I hope
as
that he
president.
digs his heels in. I hope that
He will.
He refuses to listen to anybody,
He will.
and he causes this crazy infight within the Democrat
See,
Party.
that's
that they're going to try.
Only
and oust
you
him.
guys do that. How many times have I got to tell you? Democrats
Fall in line.
Thank you, and then we fall in love, bro. That is only you, and you are so you so kill me when you think that this buyer remorse. I'll never forget you saying that. I'll say it again. After every single president, even after Donald Trump, your party and other always have buyer remorse, always, because candidates don't live up to the dreams that they promised those constituents. You have that. Again, wait until gas prices goes down. We'll see what happens with this monkeypox thing or whatever. Wait until now with the new interest rate that's not new, but with the interest rate that has been, with the housing market cooling off, when folks really start to understand, looking at their pocketbook, okay, that this is the guy that's helped me versus the obstructionist party that didn't help me.
I hope all of that happens because
will.
they're going to be like, wow, Joe Biden is terrible at everything
know.
that he touches and does.
Yeah, right.
And that under the leadership of President Biden or lack of leadership, things are going to continue to be bad.
Yeah.
Now, gas prices have dropped. They have 100%.
Precipitously.
Right. But there's also a question about why.
Oh,
right.
Oh, now you question why?
No. So one of the main reasons, right,
Oh,
is that
who gives a shit?
Demand is down. Demand is going to go back up though. So by the end,
And prices won't go. Prices will not go back up when demand goes. Wait a minute. First of all, that's mad crazy. Demand has not gone down, bro. That liberal rag that you always talk about, the
after the 4th
journal.
of July, yeah. 4th of July is kind of peak demand, and then it lulls, and then it goes back up around Memorial Day.
Bro, people don't believe the hype. Okay?
Labor Day. Sorry.
Folks still, gas prices going down. You hate that, and because
No, I don't hate it. I love it. I literally drive for a living. I want to have the lowest possible gas prices.
but before that, you were talking about how high they were.
Yeah, because they were continuing to go
you
higher.
would like to you would like to have blamed it on this president when it had nothing to do with it.
And I've said a million times that it actually the president doesn't control the prices, but the president's action or inaction.
His inaction with Ukraine is the reason why his action with COVID, because he actually did an exemplary job and gave the red son of a bitch before him credit for helping usher in some of the huge numbers we had for saving a lot of the American people.
Yeah. So when it comes to gas prices, I'm saying that the president sends, if you want to say, markers to the market. So if the president says something about we're going to ramp up production, right? Or we are going to increase our exports, or we're going to increase our imports, that sends a market marker, and that will influence what gas looks like to a certain percentage. And right now, right, all of these sanctions that we have on on Russia because of Ukraine, have impacted what type of production is out there because Russia produces such a large amount of oil globally. The United States was only buying about 3% of our oil from Russia, but oil is a global market. It is not just based off of what the United States does, but the United States does set a lot of market trends in how we are buying and not buying, right? So at the end of the day, I'm glad that the price of oil is dropping, but the president, again, sometimes the president can try really hard to mess with supply like Obama did, and the price of gas drops, not because of Obama's actions. It's just because it's a global market,
right?
But there are things that you can do to inhibit.
Right.
So,
but Trump saved the world.
No, he didn't save the world.
Oh, okay.
But his energy policy.
Oh, it was so great.
Helped to drive certain market, again, certain market conditions to be able to make the price better.
Dude, can you pass me what you're smoking? You know I like to smoke weed, so pass me what the hell you're smoking, okay? Because you're high as hell. All right, please. Enough about Joe. What's your next one, please?
Well, I would like to introduce our guest.
let's bring him involved. I mean, because he is only running for a Minnesota State House seat, right?
Yeah, so he's, at least he has his finger on the pulse of a lot of things.
Can I take a swing? Let me take a swing. See, I had it. I take a swing. Let me take a swing at Schwanke. Let me take a swing at his name. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Candidate for state. Okay, I butchered that. Let's try it again. Rewind the tape. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the show. Candidate for House Rep 48, Ben Schwanke.
Killed it.
All right.
You nailed it.
Welcome to the show.
Wow, dude. That's like the first time I've ever heard you pronounce someone's name that is not black correct.
Because I tried, because I tried not to butcher the name, because I can't stand when folks butcher my name. White folks always butcher black folks' name.
Thanks for being on the show, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
No problem. Absolutely.
Well done on it.
Oh, yeah.
No, thank you. Well, I try. Black folks can articulate things.
So I want to just first off say, me and Ben, we're buddies. We've known each other politically for a bunch of years, and I was like, you know what? I've never even thought about having him on the show, but he's an interesting cat. So I want to be able to talk with you about policy stuff, about your personal life, because I think that you as a candidate or a strong candidate, I've always thought that because your life experiences. But yeah, man, I just want to throw that out there so people know like we're homies.
Well, okay.
I also was his insurance agent for a bunch of years.
I was just gonna say you can't forget that part.
Yeah, I was also his insurance agent for a bunch of years.
So now that we have the label at the bottom of the screen, thank you. Welcome to the show again. Let's get right into it. You're running for state rep in some ritzy neighborhood. No. What part of the city the state are you running in?
So it's a northern suburb, so Mounds View, Arden Hills, part of Shoreview, and part of New Brighton.
Yeah, white folks. I don't think too many Negroes live in that neighborhood. Well, they do, but we be running. No. So why are you running though?
It's kind of been like a leading up moment, I think, to it. Basically watching everything that's been going on, I'm crazy enough to, stand up and go, all right, we can't just let this all happen. I did run it last time around in 2020, and that especially was brought on by a former student of mine. They came back to parent-teacher conferences and was like, hey, we used to know like you kind of do some stuff in politics, but we just need somebody to actually step up. So like you should really run again. And so that's what really put it back in my head of I should step up and if I'm always complaining, then I gotta walk the walk.
Activate.
I gotta go do it.
Absolutely. No. And so you brought up my next question. Who are you? You just mentioned students. You're referring to your teacher or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I teach 8th grade math at Roseville Middle School. I've been a coach for a while.
What kind of coach?
Football mainly. A little
football.
bit of basketball.
Oh, we'll talk football. Somebody on the set doesn't like football much.
Listen, I played football. I hit people. I didn't even ever study what like the plays were, so I wasn't really that good. I was good at hitting people, but that was about it.
Hey, that's what you need. Gotta have those guys though in order to be good.
So you teach at Roseville. How long have you been a teacher?
I'm going on year 10 at Roseville now.
Damn, you got your 10 year in. Okay, all right. So now we were joking offset when I said that Roseville is not a diverse place, right? And you were disagreeing with that. You think it's kind of diverse out there?
It has very much changed in the last, really the 10 years that I've been teaching there.
Really?
It is weird in one class I can have anybody who's like 3 or 4 kids who might be homeless all the way up to their parents are millionaires, and so it is a very diverse.
It's more millionaire parents in there than it is the homeless kids in Roseville. Yeah.
It's changing, especially since we border, our 2 metropolitan areas.
Yeah,
too.
Minneapolis.
We get a lot of open enrollment and stuff, and I've had a kid from Shakopee all the way up there. So it's
really
it
the jail. No. Oh. Yeah,
those teachers get paid better though. I might want to.
Do they? Oh, you better reconsider. If you don't get this, well, you'll need it for a part time because being a state house rep is only part time. So okay, so that's the other thing. So why? I heard you a few minutes ago, but again, why take a job that's part-time? Like, I don't know if you're a family man, but I mean, this job isn't full-time. It doesn't pay much. It's about $46,000 a year. Why? I mean, you're in an area that, it's kind of affluent. So, like, why are you out helping them? These folks, most of these folks may not need it.
Well, the state government really impacts a lot of different areas.
What party are you?
I am running in the Republican Party.
You are running as a Republican.
Yep.
Okay, so, okay. You know, everyone. Okay. Running as a Republican, though, in this area, how do you think your conservative nature, conservativeship, helps the state, or because again, even though you might represent these bordering cities, right? But some of them sprinkle into and border with Minneapolis, and some of these Minneapolis suburbs. And so if there's diversity in these cities, how do you intend to help folks that look like me and that are a shade lighter?
Well, that's where especially our government programs have got to change. We're not spending smart right now. We're not spending efficiently. We're just kind of throwing money at all sorts of problems. And so that's, definitely one of my goals right away is we've got to relook at how we're actually doing things at the state government. Because like you're saying, like, how is it going to help you? Well, how is it helping anybody right now? Really, we're failing on the economy. We're failing on crime. We're failing in education right now. We've got to do better, especially after the pandemic. We have less than 50% of our kids reading and doing math at grade level right now, and so
students or certain specific students. Damn, I can't talk to see specific color students, or you saying when you say students?
That's across statewide.
Okay,
right now.
All right, so
we need to do better there.
So then again, Republicans don't do much. They do a lot of talking on the sideline, especially when they don't hold these offices. All they do is scream at the TV and throw the remote. Again, how do you expect folks to trust a party that some of us deem as extractionists and we don't have a relationship with? So how do we expect to trust the Republican Party?
Well,
and David Hahn is your damn. Well, I said somebody.
I think he hit on two things there, though. One, like, we shouldn't have trust in any party. Those are the people that are, kind of organizing, fundraising and stuff for a platform, right? And so it's a party, and that's what people are going. If we start trusting parties, we're done in Minnesota as a country, anything. We've got to start looking at candidates again and saying who's actually doing something for me, who's actually going out there with a platform, with a plan, who's doing that. And so that's especially where we've got to go with it first. We got to stop trusting parties. The other thing is, I think you hit it on the head too, is like you said, these communities haven't heard from Republicans in a long time. And I've been screaming and hollering. Abdul knows this. I've been screaming and hollering at the party forever. Like, can we just get down there? Can we have a coffee shop? Can we do anything? Just meet some people here. And I do think that's been a major problem of the Republican Party, and for me, I don't think it's the communities and stuff in general. I just think a lot of Republicans tend to be scared to talk to people that they think might disagree with them. And so I think that's a big difference. I've been down in a lot of these communities, and what I always got was, I kind of agree with you. You're not too bad. And I'm like, well, why haven't you voted Republican then before? Like, if you're agreeing
smart
with me,
but
So
they say because I haven't met one. And that's a big difference. If you haven't met one, how can you trust them?
Exactly.
And so I agree with you.
So one of the things that I have always found interesting about you, Ben. So Ben and I met. I was at the University of Minnesota, and I believe I was not work. I was working for an organization on campus, and Ben was just getting close to graduate, and he actually ran against Phyllis Kahn, right? Or was it right after Phyllis Kahn was done?
It was a special election for Senator.
You ran against the mighty Kahn.
Poggemiller's seat. Seat. And so that's when I first met Ben, and he was really like, he hit it hard, the Somali community. Like, you were going to mosque, right? Like, you were like, he was out. He was.
That's smart. They're conservative.
Well, so here's the thing: is that Ben was putting in the work, and I was actually, kind of taking a little bit back because I had a buddy when I was in college that actually ran against Phyllis Kahn, and he just didn't have that same work ethic. He, I nothing against him. He's an awesome dude. What up, Oli? But he didn't put in that same effort that Ben. He was out there grinding, man. He was like out there. And so one of the things I wanted to ask Ben, like, this is the most fascinating, is that if someone were to say, here's a Republican, and they would imagine, I want to imagine what this Republican is like, they would not come up with who Ben Schwanke is.
Not a chance.
You are a gay man.
I just want to say, okay. Can we talk about your personal?
Okay.
Yeah.
You are a teacher. Not only you're a teacher, you are a union steward. On top of that, you are on the Equal Rights Commission.
Human Rights Commission.
Human Rights Commission. And like this is the thing, is that you have, just in your personal life of kind of friends that we have, you have like, I would say more of Ben's friends and his close ties are people that aren't white, right? So it's
Well,
like,
yeah.
so
Smart man.
This is who Ben is as a
Who wants to
person.
have all them
So-
damn white folks as friends?
So when Ben talks about getting to know who you are as a candidate, I think that's crazy. So like for you, how do you have all of these things that people, mainstream media or mainstream narrative or just in general, people say, how are you Republican? Can you kind of like walk us through like why are you someone that affiliates with the Republicans?
For me, it really boils down to what the party's supposed to be about, right? Now, I say supposed to be, right?
Because they ain't.
We have so many people who don't do what they're supposed to be doing, just like you were saying. Biden doesn't do a lot of things that their party is expecting him to do. But for me, it's like when I look at the two platforms, with everything going on, with the way the systems are created and stuff like that, the Democrat platform, it continues to be, let's expand those. Somehow by expanding them all, we're going to fix the problem that's already there in these systems. And so I look at that and go, well, then we're just going to expand the problem. If we just keep making these institutions bigger that are already corrupt or already have messes going on, we're just making that mess bigger. And so that's where, for me as a Republican, in theory, we're supposed to be, right, for smaller government, less intrusion into your life, less intrusion into your business, less intrusion in general. And so that's where I really identify with the Republican Party, because if we're going to get rid of these problems, we've got to shrink the scope of the problem itself.
But what party are you thinking about? I mean, I don't know, the party where they're sorcerers and unicorns, because this current party, both local and federally, that's not who they are. When Donald Trump was in office, you or no one else ever mentioned the deficit and the fact that it got blown up. But while the 8 years while President Obama was in office, that's all you endlessly talked about. So I hear you. That is what they're supposed to be about. But the fact that they aren't, if you're dealing with reality, they're not, and they haven't been for a while. So why be a part? And then be a part of a party that's not very welcoming to homosexuals, especially what they just did at the state convention.
I'll push back a little bit on that state convention, mainly because I was actually shocked at how much support was there.
We were there.
I was there.
Ben and I were actually working
But
together.
okay, so then, so here's the thing, though, man. I'm glad you're pushing back. But again, on the outside looking in, if I hear that, what I heard from this convention, if I'm a homosexual that's not associated with the party, but conservative in nature, then why would I join a party that I heard how they disrespected? And it's typical. So even if it didn't go down the way y'all say, it's typical. It still further perpetuates the notion that you're not a welcoming party. And they're not. Are you log cabin? Is that you are?
Yeah.
So, okay. So
I will say that convention doubled our numbers.
double the numbers? No.
It exposed, in many ways, who we are as a group and stuff like that. And people at the convention didn't know until this. I say little fight because there's really like 3 or 4 people. And what I witnessed was one of them getting booed off the microphone because of what they were saying. And then when we had the vote, I was shocked, actually. I thought, maybe 65%. Like, we're making some good progress here. We got affiliated 2 years ago. We're changing things. And overwhelmingly, it was supported.
Like the way that I explained it, and I'll explain it again, is that at convention you have the state central delegates committee, and that's a smaller group, like 300-ish people, 350. And then we have the state convention delegation of 2,200 people. And the 3 or 4 really, really adamant people, they played some games where they ran out the clock, right? And so we had enough support as a delegation body with the full committee there, full convention delegation, that it right away it's just yeah, of course we're going to affiliate all these groups. Mm-hmm. So the thing that I have found, I guess, impressive about you is just like myself, right? Being that I grew up poor and that I'm, clearly not white, and that I believe in a lot of the platform of the Republican Party. I think that conversation is important to have. So, for you, I know that you've had people that have been traditional Democrats, that are traditional Democrats, but you're like, okay, tell me why I should vote for you, Ben. And so, tell me about that experience of people that would probably never vote for another Republican anywhere down the ticket, but they know that Ben is the dude. So, how do you make that impact, man?
For me, it's like you're saying, Jamar, here, it's calling out when your party's wrong. I will say that I think has made the biggest difference in getting, like you're also saying with my friends. A lot of my friends are Democrats too, whether it's the teachers or kids my age and stuff like that. Is they're Democrats, but they hear me when I'm like, oh yeah, that was wrong, and they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, Yeah, I didn't like when they did it. I didn't like when the Democrats did it, and it's just being intellectually consistent, And so I do have a lot of support in the community from Democrats. I actually just had a little meet and greet this morning with a few different Democrats in the district.
Are you surprised though?
Am I surprised that they support me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I'm not surprised, and the reason why is because, it's the same thing in teaching. A good teacher builds relationships. Like I can know all the math I want to know, but if I can't relate to this student, it doesn't matter, And I think it's the same thing when it comes to our politics, and I think that's what we're missing right now is the humanization of politics. Once we can actually get another relationship going and have honest conversations, kind of like what we're having right now, that's when we're actually going to be able to move forward as a state or as a country, And that's really one of my goals in getting up there is, look, I'm going to tell the Republican caucus when they're wrong. It might be 1 vote, it might be 2, it might be 3, who knows? But when they're wrong, they're going to be wrong, and I'm going to say that.
Doesn't it worry you, though? I mean, he and I talk about it. We talk about how Roe v. Wade was overturned, and as I told him, we got a steak dinner bet on. I hope you watched the show last week and the weeks prior. I strongly believe that your party will attack gay marriage. And I guarantee you they will watch these southern states, especially because of their conservative nature. Some conservatives going to sue some preacher or some church or blah, 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 to shoot it to the Supreme Court because they know that it will. Then why be a part of a party that again, it's not welcoming to you, that specifically wants to, and I have my older sister that lives in Texas. She's gay. She's not for gay marriage. She, I don't want that shit. She's crazy, by the way. Yeah, very. I love you, sis. But she doesn't want it. So as well as then everyone doesn't necessarily all the homosexual community doesn't all want gay marriage.
They're not a monolith,
right? Well, no, they're not. No, but what I'm saying is
black people aren't a monolith.
True, but we do think similar, right? I'm sure you could think about, I'm sure you could say could represent about 80-90% of the gay community, LGBTQ community, right? Then I'm trying to, I know all these, okay, gay community, right? So if that happens, when that happens, because I'm pretty damn sure it's gonna happen, when it happens, you're still going to be a part of that party? And then how do you go about that? I know it's a big hypothetical, but believe me, it isn't. What do you do, though?
Well, that's where the states have to start doing their job. And I mean, Minnesota already passed that it'd be legal here, and many other states have already passed it too. And that's the route it should have gone in the first place. But at the same time,
well, your party says they stay out of the marriage business until it's a gay marriage.
Well, and that's where I was say, I think we're asking the wrong question on this in general. And I've been saying that.
What's the right question?
Democrats is, why is government in marriage? Like, period. Like, why do they have any role in it? It's
I agree with you.
Two adults having, a business transaction or some sort of transaction there. If you want to get married in a church and have a religious marriage, go to a church and get married. But I should be able to enter in any contractual agreement with anybody I want to.
Here's
as an adult.
As an adult. That's right.
Adult,
as a consented adult.
And here's the thing that I've always found interesting, and this is what I've always had respect, is that I've ran into plenty of Republicans that, or I'll say people that are running for office that wear the Republican hat, but they don't carry any water. You and I have done 25 conventions, whether it was just a state central meeting or whatever, because we do believe that the best way to have an impact is to be part of the party. And this is a message I always give to people. Like, the Republican Party also is not a monolith. The changes that you and I have seen, right, from everything from becoming part of, getting involved, that's what you do. And that's at the same level for you, right? Like, you're getting involved and you want to be a state rep because you want to be able to have an impact. You're not going to just take your ball and go home, and you're going to keep pushing, you're going to keep on trying. And I think that that's the most important thing for people to understand, is that you as a person, right, you have your values, you have your core beliefs, and you're willing to talk to anybody about anything. I wanted to tell this story that I thought was interesting. So, I'm a man of, jack of all trades, master of none, right? Mm-hmm. And of one of the things that I used to do, I drive Lyft. I would do Instacart. Like, this is how I roll. I've always had side hustles. And I picked up this one kid in, like, St. Paul. And I try and, like, small talk with people. And some people don't want to talk, and that's fine. Some people want to tell me, like, the whole life story. And I was talking to this kid, and he said he just graduated. And he said he went to Roseville. And I was like, I got a buddy, this teacher. And he's like, what's his name? And I was like, Ben Schwanke. And he's like, Coach Schwanke. And I was like, so you know him? He's like, oh, yeah, man. Like, He's the coolest coach. He's taught me a lot of stuff about life. And I was telling the story to Ben, and he's like, "You've never even told me about that." I'm like, "It's crazy." So
Party, seriously, because as much as you think so, this still is a party that isn't going to push someone from your community to the top of a ticket. They're not going to do that. They're absolutely not going to do that. They don't even really promote women unless she's popular. Sarah Palin, please quit running her, by the way. Jeez.
quit running her. What
Yeah.
I don't even know what Sarah Palin's doing these days,
or,
bro.
Or what's the little blonde lady here that ran that lost to Tina Smith?
Here?
Her husband's the hockey guy. He played hockey.
Lauren Housley?
Or her either, okay?
What do you mean?
They suck. They run inept campaigns. But anyway.
Karen's awesome. She's
She's a
awesome
great person, but she runs a horrible campaign.
Does she?
Okay.
I don't know, man. I mean, she ran a pretty hard campaign.
She did?
Yeah, she did. She did.
Where?
It's just, listen.
Those commercials she ran with no Negroes in it,
year,
and you're running for no. Don't get me started on Karen. But what I'm saying though is, again, it's a party that's not representative of the state, of folks that are from your community, though, Ben, and that's just the truth. How do you continue?
But what's your community, Ben?
Well,
tell me what your community is.
Yeah.
Because I think he's making assumptions of what your community is.
I mean, okay, am I making an ass of myself? I mean, do you say you're from the gay community, or I mean, I don't know, bro. I'm not, I don't know.
No, I mean, I don't say I'm necessarily from there because I don't let it define me. It's one aspect. And that's it. Like when I introduce myself, I say I'm a math teacher. That's what I do.
Right. Please don't. Yeah, no, yeah, right.
So. Yeah. When it comes down to, I think a lot of that, like you're saying, like, well, what the Republican Party is doing, and I kind of push back to it and say, well, what's the Democrat Party really doing?
Oh, but we're a welcoming party.
Aren't doing either.
What do you think Democrats aren't doing for? Wait a minute, when you say that, you mean specifically for the gay community?
I just mean in general.
Oh, okay. Well, in general, yes. You got me there in general.
Like you said, I think each party gets stuck in their own silo.
Yeah.
And I think St. Paul gets stuck in their own silo.
Yeah.
Whether they're Republican or Democrat.
No, true enough.
And so, like you're saying, like,
how will you change that?
I gotta step up.
Exactly. How will you change that? What are you going there to do?
That's where it starts with those conversations. Like I said, like my job, I think, essentially getting up there first is let's start bridging some of these conversations. Like.
Will you truthfully do that? I think you will, because I see through that blue shirt you got on, blue on the show, right? Democrat.
It's his favorite color.
Yeah, right. Mine too. Mine too. But I can see your heart, though. I can see that you're a really good man. So and it's going to be hard. But will you take the steps to bring your party over? Well, not over to this, but I mean, bridging those gaps that exist between black and brown community, indigenous folks, whatever they want to call them, and the police. Well, we know
BIPOC.
BIPOC. There you go. I'm sorry. Just say BIPOC.
Again, who made that term?
I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Somebody white, I'm sure.
Latinx and BIPOC.
It's like, dude, what are you coming up with these damn names for? You watching TV or something? Yeah, but will you make a really concerted effort to bridge that gap?
Absolutely. I keep reaching out. It's unfortunate certain things in the past with the party and stuff has gone certain ways. I don't want to get too far into those.
Sure.
But, I'll just say, it's disappointing. I had different, just like I said, like coffee shop meetups and stuff like that where it's like, hey, come on down. I know some people, they're not going to agree with you, but get to know them. Let's start there. Let's get to know them. And we had it set up, and then, like I said, things happened, so it went away. But like I said, yeah, absolutely, I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep reaching out. I'm going to keep talking to the different communities, whether they're the gay community, the black community, the Latino community. Like, for me, it doesn't matter.
I could tell.
It really doesn't matter, and that's where we got to start getting back to the individual. We have to. Like, in teaching, I can't teach to, hey, here's how everything's going to happen. I've got to try and diversify as much as I can in every lesson to try and hit a multitude of learners.
But I'm sorry, when it comes to inner city deals with overcrowding, they're saying a lot of the schools deal with overcrowding, but specifically inner city. As a teacher, how do you recognize when you're dealing with oversized in class of 30, 32, you don't have the paraprofessional, whatever they call them nowadays, how do you recognize students, especially minority students that might be in the class, that are homeless, that are hungry, or have a learning disability? When you're dealing with such a large class size, isn't it a little harder to recognize anything that might be wrong with said student if they're not acting out, or if they're acting out, is it hunger or is it behavior issues? Is that hard as a teacher? Where do you meet the balance at?
Absolutely. I'm not going to pretend it's easy
Word.
by any means.
Word.
You know,
Word.
It is hard. And that's where it's fine in little ways. And I'll say I continue to grow as a teacher in that way. Like, I
Right.
won't say I have all the answers when
Right.
it comes to it. I think I'm pretty good. But,
Word.
you know, but it's finding those different times in class where it's like, hey, you know, hey, can you go do up a problem on the board? And, you know, I'll sit in that student seat and then talk to the students around and be like, hey, you know, what was your day? You know, what are you going on? Hey, how was last night? Oh, you look tired, you know, like everything going on. Okay. Just not sleep much. You up playing video games, you know, just you literally get to know them in that way. And
Isn't the approach different with black students and brown students versus their white counterparts? Doesn't the approach has to be different? Or well, again, let me let you answer it. Is the approach different for minority students versus their white counterparts when you're trying to find out, you know, learning disability or if they're homeless? Because black folks, we specifically, being serious, we don't want to tell someone white, even though I'm glad that black student, but sports are so different. We love differently when it comes to sports, right? But black folks don't want white folks in our business because it tends to have in the state and then, you know, what do you call them, child protectors, all them folks, right? So how is that a fine line to walk and to recognize?
Because you're a mandatory reporter.
You know, yes and no, and mainly I say it that way because it is still hard. Like you said, some people, no matter what, whether they're black, white, whatever, there's like, I don't want anybody to know my business. Yeah, and they might be perfectly fine, but they still don't want anybody to know their business.
That's right.
But I mean, like you know, like you said, if I'm sitting up here and I'm trying to be a different person, you'll see right through that.
True.
You know, and so that's why I say I don't think it's a different approach. It's being genuine to who I am.
Word.
You know, because if I sit there and try and be like, oh hey, you know, I was down doing whatever, you know, kids are gonna look at me and just go, well, you weren't, you know, or you don't belong here. But you know, I'll make fun of myself. I'm, you know, I know I'm a white dude, you know, like I know it, I embrace it, you know, I just have certain things, you know, but it's embracing it.
One of the things that I looked up just because I wanted to have a statistic, Roseville High School is majority non-white. 17% of the student body population is black. Only
17.5.
Yeah, only 40% is white. So it is a very diverse. And then also
I wouldn't say very diverse
compared to the rest of Minnesota. Yes, 50% of Minnesota is not white. Like 88% of Minnesota is white, or something like 80.
And look up our free and reduced lunch numbers too. You'd be surprised.
I wouldn't. I know that more white students are on the free and reduced student lunches than are the.
I just wanted to throw that out there, but you know, there's an interesting question.
I think they're using the system. I think they're gaming the system, though.
Gaming the system.
Yeah.
Is there anything, you know, that's glaring or clearly obvious that you disagree with, like an official party stance? And this gets a little bit nuanced because there is the Republican Party, right? And then there's like the House caucus, and then there's different leadership. But is there anything that that you just completely disagree with the party on that you're okay with? And then secondly, if you disagree, tell me, how does that work? I know how it works, but I'd like to hear from your perspective when you have disagreements with the party.
You know, I'll say the quick one that I think comes up to the top of my head is I've been recommended as a friend of sensible change and stuff like that because I do believe that we should be legalizing marijuana.
Yes.
You know,
Word. I mean,
you know,
it should be legal. Yes.
You know, if we're gonna really address the problems that do come along with drugs and stuff, then we got to actually be serious about addressing them. You know, and so I think that is one of the things, at least the way it's currently played out in past sessions, that I am different and can, you know, that's the one I can quickly think of for sure. That
and then so how does that work though, with the party? Like if you disagree on that, are they throwing you out or
you get ostracized?
What's that like?
You know, sometimes in caucus, but it will not be fun. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But that's where it's like going down the line and actually talking and finding people who are halfway there. You know, if somebody's adamantly against it, chances are I'm not changing their mind.
Correct.
At least right away. You know, whether it's that issue or many others. And so it's finding out the ones who are willing to at least listen first and building that bridge first. You know, I've had a lot of people say, no, you're wrong on this, Ben, and they have a lot of valid arguments, and I agree. I just think that by legalizing it, that does change the atmosphere of what we can actually play with in trying to help and support the people.
And no doubt about it, it's the glaring, obvious solution is it would decriminalize it and less likely to criminal and imprison black and brown men that have been getting slammed for small marijuana charges.
So the thing that's interesting and most obvious to me, but probably not obvious to everyone else, is that when you have that type of disagreement, right? This is a thing about the Republican Party that I think needs to be put out very kind of front and center. The Republican Party, because we are more individualists in general, you can find
And who?
individualists. You can find a bunch of people that will come together for common things, but we don't kick ourselves out of the party. Whereas on the Democrat Party,
What?
if you're not part of the group, you do something and you get kicked out of the group, like you are 86, man. And
What?
your boy. What do you mean?
What do you mean? Who?
Your boy straight up got kicked out the caucus, man.
Who?
Your boy, Representative John Thompson. And I'm saying that.
Well, white folks tend to do that to black folks. I mean, what else is new?
But I'm just saying. I think that with the Republican Party,
Oh, y'all do that shit too.
not anywhere is near. And usually when we kick out someone,
Plus, y'all don't have the cojones to do anything like that either.
It's usually because they actually leave. Then when we get kicked out, they're like, "I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I don't even want to be part of this anymore."
Yeah, see, like that old white dude. That's a typical Republican right there. Yeah. Yeah.
You're preposterous.
No, I'm just saying.
It's crazy, man. Our time always runs out. I want to have you back on.
I want you to come back, and you definitely got to. And then I want you to win because we need folks like you. We need Republicans like you at in the Capitol, at or in both. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Walking around and actually,
that's right. That's right.
Voting
because
Probably should take a few votes on.
we need to get things going, right? And we need sensible Republican and Democrats to put party aside. I cannot speak tonight. Quit being so partisan and get some things done for everybody, no matter what community you belong to, right? And that's what it's supposed to be about. And we have sensible-minded folks like yourself. But if you notice, though, it is the younger generations, right, that are running for offices that don't care about homosexuality, what color you are, what you dress like, that are making a difference. And I'm fully supporting that, right? Whether they're Republican or Democrat, they're sensible. Because now they realize that we aren't, those old ones aren't getting shit done.
The Republican Party is becoming browner, right? They are.
Where?
This trend is happening where the Republican Party is becoming browner and more working class, and the Democrat Party.
You're right, because they keep shitting themselves with these candidates they got. Other than that, they are no Negroes.
But this is the thing: is that the party itself, in probably the next 15 years, is going to be not majority.
Locally, you saying what? Where?
So locally, yes, but I'm saying that's where the shift has been. Whereas the Democrat Party is becoming wider and more.
You don't even
middle,
stop.
Middle,
No,
upper
it
class
isn't.
and upper class. It is. That's
you are
dude,
so
I'm
wrong.
telling you, that's what the
you
trend
can't
is,
tell
dude.
me about that when I'm in the trenches.
That's what the trend is,
Okay,
dude.
tell you something though.
Yeah.
When are you guys locally going to elect and put someone black or gay in a big position? And you guys see, here's the thing. Don't tell me that you guys are browning and all that.
It could happen
It's
the next
not.
cycle. It absolutely could.
You wouldn't even put the idiot that used to be our sponsor, make him run him for governor. I mean, that's something that would have been. Listen, brother, he has no chance. Walsh will win, unfortunately.
Yeah, but see, again, we're not identitarians, man.
The
reason we didn't put Kendall up is because Kendall lost. And Dr. Jensen was a better candidate.
He is not a better candidate.
Kendall, yes, he
listen,
was.
we got to go off the air because we'll have that talk. Because Jensen is not. Jensen is like Lacey Johnson. He's going to go down.
No,
he's going to go down with the Johnsons, the Lacey Johnson and Jeff Johnson.
Candidate I've ever seen.
Where's he been? He hasn't touched North Minneapolis yet.
Yes, he has.
Where?
Dude, he's all over the entire
Stop.
state. And
when has he been in North Minneapolis? Because I want to be there.
I don't want to talk out my ass, but my understanding is that he already has been.
He's lying.
No.
He's lying.
He's just not. He just, from my understanding, is that he's not going necessarily in kissing the ring in the way. But he is. Then
you don't want to make because here's the thing.
And again, I don't work for his campaign. I don't speak for his campaign.
Nobody black does either. I'm just saying.
I mean,
Ben,
I don't
help
know
me
if
out here though, for real. When AK talks about identity politics, a lot of Republicans say that, bro. Well, maybe you feel different. I should say help me out, but being black, and you being a minority too now, right? Because you're gay, right? You're a minority, right? To you, do you find something wrong with identity politics? Because I want people to know how I feel as a black man, how I would feel as a gay man, how I feel as a gay woman. If you don't have those people in positions or promoting those folks, how the hell can you empathize? How the hell do you work? How do we get things done for me and my community when you don't have representation of that?
I think there can be a little bit of both.
Okay.
Like you said, like if I want you to feel in this way, because like there's that section that is part of you, right? But like you said, like, but I do hate, like I like AK, like I hate when it's 99% of you is this aspect of you, and so I do think there can be a little bit of both for sure. But at the same time, like. I hate when they're like, well, that's a gay person running or it's somebody else. You gotta vote for them. What do you mean?
You took the words right out of my mouth. So you would, okay.
Like
Thank
I'm not gonna do it just.
You wouldn't vote just because someone is gay.
No.
A Republican, a gay Republican. Okay, so you hear Bobby Jenkins. Well, he wouldn't. Yeah, you're right. He wouldn't be white. But anyway, you hear he's running. He's gay. He's conservative. You've heard about him. Do you not? Okay, versus Jamar. The Republican, right? The new Republican.
Gangster Jamar,
right?
The new Republican.
Who do you give your ear to first? Do you the guy that you could identify with as a person on personal level, right? I hope I'm not saying that weirdly, but do you identify with the gay guy or Jamar?
Honestly, I think it's who comes to me most likely first. Who actually is sincerely reaching out. In past candidates I thought I would support, I ended up not supporting because they're like, we don't need him, or hey, he's automatically on our side. And then other people have come to me and said, hey, we want you here. We think you bring value. And I'll be like, I thought I'd support this guy, but no, yeah, I'm on board with you because you developed that relationship. You actually actively went out and got me.
So, no, I'm agreeing with you. I'm sorry. I agree with you. It's just like I have no shame with saying that I always give a black candidate, female or male, an ear, the first ear, above the white candidate, because I want to give that candidate a chance who has not had a chance. So absolutely, I may not vote for them.
Yep.
I may not vote for him or her because everybody black ain't good, right? But I'm going to give that person my first ear.
But that's where I said that's why I want to know who's going to actually come to me sincerely. Because like you said, like a lot of people just because it's like, hey, yeah, we're the same. I automatically got you.
Yeah, exactly.
I can treat you differently. Like we're automatically gonna be the same, and I'm like,
no,
we're not the same. So that's it's like I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I'm like, but no, you still got to earn my vote.
No, right? Absolutely.
The same does not mean we're the same, and I don't want you coming 20 weeks later just because you see I'm with somebody else because they got that. It's like, sorry, too little, too late. You don't care.
You have this recurring theme of it's about relationships and it's about understanding who that person is fundamentally. And listen, I don't disparage when people have more of a slant towards kind of the collectivist or identitarian aspect. I just like to use those terms, not derogatory, but to explain that for certain percentages of the population, that is very important to them. Like it does truly matter.
It does, bro. I'm glad you recognize that.
For another percentage of the population, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Matter.
No,
it just doesn't.
And that's okay. And that's okay. I'm one of the that it really does. It really does make a difference. I want to always strongly support women, black, gay. I voted for gay. I proudly champion gay marriage, right? With one of our biggest community leaders in North Minneapolis, who came out publicly against it. Mm-hmm. I got on the phone, and he's my mentor. I got on the phone and said, "You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. You represent a lot of us, and I understand as both heterosexual men, we can't be thinking about our sex. We should be thinking about it's a civil rights issue. They have the right. Blah blah. Don't get me started. Yeah. But anyway." I just strongly support that, and I thank God for my mom because she's a bleeding heart liberal. She was right. Yeah. Well, I mean, she's alive, but I'm saying she doesn't really into politics as well. But but so I
saying we might win her over then. She's no longer just a bleeding heart liberal.
No. But she's just like, who you say over Jamar? Yeah, okay.
Hey man, I wanted to ask, do you have any campaign events coming up anytime soon? Where can people go to learn more about you and get connected with your campaign?
Absolutely. You can go to schwankeforhouse.com to find more what's going on. Check out the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, stuff like that.
Do you got a Facebook page?
We do have a Facebook page.
I wonder if our great producer can find it and let's see what it looks like, and then we could.
Yeah, we'll link it. Absolutely. We'll link it in the.
Absolutely, we will link it. Yeah. There. See, wait a minute. I feel like Samantha from Bewitched. Do. So you know,
but
I'm too old
Yeah,
school.
no, we got some parades coming up. We're out door knocking. I'm out almost every day. Anytime I'm not, meeting with other people and stuff like that. So yeah, anybody who's willing to donate or come out and volunteer, we absolutely always need more people.
How's the campaign going so far?
Overall, it's going really well. I'll say the reception at the door has been great, whether they've been Democrat or Republican. I'll say I'm actually kind of shocked. As Abdul say, I've helped candidates and stuff in the past who I believe in, and I'm used to getting yelled at, and I'm like, something might be changing. I think
You're going to do well with
getting fed up.
Democrats.
I really
Believe me, you're going to do well with Democrats. Democrats, because we can be conservative. Most of us are, right? Period. As a society, think about it. I always hate to say this because it sounds like I'm a Republican. But we are conservative in nature, right, as a country.
Cultural Democrats is what I like to call.
Well, or latte, as Al Franken, as Reverend Al Sharpton calls them, Al. Latte Democrats. Latte Democrats. Those, those Schwanke Democrats, right? Schwanke, not Schwanke, but those Schwanke ones. But no, honestly, great. It was great to have you, man. The best of luck. We'll have you on as many times as you'll come.
Absolutely, I enjoyed it.
We fully support you. I know you're an AK friend, so a friend of AK is a friend of mine, and we fully support you. You got to show support. We really need you there. So go out and vote for this guy. You got a primary opponent yet?
I do not have a primary opponent.
Oh, so you're gonna go in? You're just gonna case
we're
on in,
taking
right?
it right to the beast right away.
Word.
Absolutely.
Well, then it's gonna be a Democrat. Then I'm gonna have to, No, I'm supporting Ben Schwanke.
That's right.
I just can't vote for you, but I'm supporting you.
Thank you. No,
Thank you,
I
man.
really appreciate it. That means a lot.
No,
Really
absolutely,
does.
man. I'm really sincere, man. Best of luck, and you got our support. Seriously.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Ben Schwanke, ladies and gentlemen. That's your boy.
That is my boy.
It's your boy.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. The people that you get to interact with and meet, and I've said this to people before. I've been involved in the Republican Party for 16 years, and
Bless your heart.
I've met so many
Bless
different
your
people. I have so many great relationships, and Ben is one of those guys that we've always been in the same kind of space. We are both big believers in what the party can actually do. We're big believers in putting in the work. Biggest difference between us is that I've never ran for office.
You should have told him that before he left. Then all this sweet thing.
I've seen Ben run, and I've seen all my other buddies run. I'm like, that is not for me. So
all these sweet things you're saying, you should have told him before he left.
Everyone that runs, because I am not built for that. This
Well,
man is not built for that
you could. We are live. Who is that? Just a little cute little blonde chick. See, we're diverse. We're a diverse show.
That's our diverse show.
We're a diverse show. And you should have said those sweet things to Ben before he left, damn it. You should have. Well, make sure you tell him when
Yeah.
He's probably just in the parking lot waiting on us.
Yeah, he's probably watching it live.
Remind him he will get mugged in this neighborhood. No, I mean.
Actually, on the way in.
He has a gun, though. He's Republican.
He probably does. But on the way in, I have never seen, and I guess I haven't paid attention really.
You have not.
But driving across, what bridge is that? It's off Broadway. So Broadway.
It's a Broadway bridge.
If you're coming from basically West Broadway to East, like Northeast, I saw probably 200 people walking out and about. I saw nary one black person. I was like, yo, this is the whitest white.
Well, I mean, they are gentrifying.
I had no problem with it. Well,
I do, because they're gentrifying my damn community. Give you Section 8 to get you the hell out of here.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Again, make sure to hit that like button, hit that share button. We ask you again to support our sponsors, the Mart. Make sure, again, if you have questions about starting a business, end-of-life issues, make sure to please give Dennis Smith a call. Make sure that, you can connect with him because he helps the show.
He does.
Help keep political discourse alive, right? That we can actually have these conversations about things that people are vehemently disagree upon. And also make sure to hit our Patreon link if you like what we do.
Absolutely. And that's why you're right, keeping civility alive, civil discourse alive, is electing guys or candidates like Ben, for real, that can, Democrats and Republicans that think like-minded, they can go get something done.
Absolutely.
I love it. I'm Jamar.
I'm AK Kamara.
Check y'all out next week.
Peace.